Alright, I'm sitting on the toilet. I just peed and now I'm moving my bowels. No customers. I locked the front door. Snitch games. I walked in the door. Sarah was not at the front counter. She was over at the soda fountain by herself. And I walked in and clocked in. And then I walked back down to the soda fountain side and said, Sarah, I just clocked in. And then she said, hey, and I said, she also, she's like, hey, how you doing? I was like, how y'all doing? And then she started grilling me. She asked me 3 times, y'all, who you talking about? Do you see anybody else in here but me? I acted like I didn't hear her because I was clocking in. That's when it happened. When she said that. No, she said that, y'all. What do you mean? Anybody else here? Do you see anybody else here, y'all? And I acted like I didn't hear her, and then she said again, do you see anybody else in the store but me? And I didn't answer her. She said, why did you say y'all? There's nobody in the store but me. I said, y'all, meaning, how are you and your people doing? Your family. How are y'all doing? Which is something that people have said to me when I've been all by myself working, as a receptionist or a cashier or something. You say hi to them and say, how y'all doing? When I'm standing there by myself and nobody's around me. And I figured it out. It's a southern thing. And it's just a way people greet people here. And it's not just a reference to how are you. It's how is your family. So that's a local tradition. Ryan was in the store when I came out from clocking in. So he stood around and stood around. I don't know what Sarah was doing. She had her phone charging on the cigarette shelf. But she was acting super, super friendly. And while I was in the office, too, she came in there and said, how's you and your son doing? And I was like, yeah. She's like, yeah, I found a place. I said, no, we're living in hotels. And she said that she knew somebody that was living somewhere that's still living there in this local area here around the store in Broadmoor, that they don't like where they're living, they're going to move out, and it was $300 a month. Was that something I could afford? And I told her yes. She said, would I be interested in her contacting that person for me so I could rent that place? I said, yes, that would be fine. And then she said she had to do something to get the number. So she's told me that kind of bullshit before, and it's just her trying to make herself look like she's assisting me. I went and started walking the store to see how the store looked, and she asked me, Jeanette, can I go out and have a cigarette? Or Jeanette, is it okay with you if I can go out and smoke or have a cigarette? I think is what she said. And I said, sure, And Ryan was standing there waiting for her, and she walked out the door. And then Ryan just stood there. And I started asking Ryan about diamonds. But he was walking after Sarah, and he didn't want to talk to me. And he walked outside, and while Sarah was smoking, stood there and talked to her. And then, I don't know what they were said. Nobody invited me to come out there or informed me of any monitoring or searches. I didn't give any consent. I wasn't invited to participate, wasn't informed of such, and didn't give anybody else permission to participate. Sarah came back in. There was a wash rag that was folded. It was laying on the shelf underneath the cash register counter. It was wet and had been used, and she came back in and she said, she picked it up off the shelf underneath the counter, and she asked me, where do you want me to put this? So just stick it over there, that's fine. There's a place right behind the electric cigarettes where we always put wet towels that we used to wipe the counter with. That's been the practice here since I got here. So she was faking something to make it sound like she was giving me something else. There wasn't any reason for her to ask me that. And then she just sat up in the front by me while I rang up customers. Jake came in, the maintenance man from Park Villa, and he walked in, was standing at the counter, bought beer. I rang him up. Then he walked out the front door of the store for no reason at all, turned around and came back in. I have no idea what he was doing. He didn't invite me to testify. I didn't give him permission to participate. Didn't say a word to me at all. So that's that. Then, let's see, what else? Sarah finally left at about 6:15. She made a phone call, went in the bathroom, and stayed in the bathroom for a good 15 minutes before she left about 6:15. This bathroom I'm sitting in. I have no knowledge of what Sarah did when she was in the bathroom. Then Sarah left. Then let's see what else. The mental health lady came in. She's a mental health specialist. She comes here about a lot of lottery tickets and stuff. While she was here, the guy, the white male with the beard that usually can't afford raviolis, he came in and asked to use our cordless phone, so I let him do that. He walked to the back of the store. He said he was using his cell phone just to get the number. He used that, just for phone numbers. He went to the back of the store by the water shelves in the cooler and made a phone call on the cordless and came to the front and gave me the phone back and walked out the front door. He had no knowledge of what his phone call was about. And while he was making that phone call and I was talking to the mental health specialist girl that buys lottery tickets, Nita walked in the front door and she looked at the counter, saw me, and she turned around and walked out on a hill. So, I think there was somebody else too that came in the bathroom. I haven't used an ATM. I have never given anybody permission to participate in any investigation about me or my son. I've never been informed of such opportunities for myself. And I have never received financial assistance or a checkbook, debit card, or anything like that. I've taken calculus, I've taught fractions and decimals, geometry, algebra 1 and 2 all day long. I don't need anybody to balance a checkbook for me. To my knowledge, I don't have any checking account or any financial resources available to me other than my paycheck from this gas station in Linwood Public Charter School. Nobody ever spends a dime on me and Jake but me. I've never given anybody else permission to engage in any financial transactions with resources that are available for me and my son or should be made available to me and my son. And I don't buy things and give them away either. So this is all falsified evidence and fabrication. Ryan doesn't work here, neither does Jake. They're just Sarah's friends. And then Frankie came in and he left again. So I told him I was taught that it was China, not Russia, who was going to nail us. In the Book of Revelation, he's kind of on that kind of stuff. So a lot of people interpret the Bible the way they want to. So anyway, Jake's at the library. My truck is parked over here to the right of the car wash. To the right of the store by the left side of the car wash. And Sarah's acting really super nice, but it didn't take her long. The reason she kept saying, "Why are you saying y'all? Don't you see anybody else up here but me?" is because she's looking for evidence of mental illness, hallucinations, that type of thing. And she just jumps on the gun, and I get my head bitten off every time I come to work. Doesn't matter what I say. And it's just the most innocent comments. How are y'all? I go through that every day, and I need a lawyer because I don't have the right to testify on my own behalf. And she's a snitch. Nobody supervises me. I've never given her any kind of consent to participate in any matter that involves me and my son or anybody else. I'm never giving consent to anybody to do that. So. Ain't no other way to say that, asshole.